Hey everybody, it's Ollie. Listen, I know this podcast is 3 weeks late and that's so awful. Me and Mark have just been so busy with other projects and things going on the website and off the website. And we just haven't had the time to create the content that we need for this podcast. But it is now done. Now, what you've got to bear in mind though is that some of it was recorded 3 weeks ago, some of it was recorded today. It's kind of all over the place, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoy it. Here's episode 3 of the GYC cast.
This is a podcast from the Gay Youth Corner. For more information, visit www.thegyc.com and click on podcast.
Thanks, Frank, and hi everybody, it's Ollie back for episode 3 of the GYC cast, the brand new, well, still kind of brand new, super exciting podcast series from the Gay Youth Corner. Thank you for all your lovely messages and feedback and nice things that you say about episodes 1 and 2. Mark and I are super grateful, and we're still having a great time doing it, so that's good news. Especially thank you to the one person who made us buying a voicemail subscription on Skype worth it. Have a listen to this, people.
Hey, my name's Nick Wright. I'm calling from the United States, and I have been a member of the GYC for 2 years. Thank you for doing the podcast. I think it's wonderful, even though I have a hard time understanding you because of your accent. But that's all right. I can deal with it. Thanks. Bye.
Well, thank you, Nick, right? We do the podcast for you. I'm not even going to go there. Look, more people need to leave us messages on Skype. I mean, wouldn't that be fun if you were on here? Don't make me beg. Add us on Skype, GYCcast, or email us comments, questions, feedback, whenever you like, gyccast@thegyc.com. We have got emails, okay? We've been getting emails, and I've been replying to them, but they're not the kind of thing you would read out, because they're all hate. Also, didn't Mark do wonderfully on his first episode all by himself? Kudos to you, Mark. And since the running theme is kind of us just complimenting each other, I don't know why that's happened, but I like it. I thought it would be easier if I just said, Mark, will you marry me? Okay, good, we're done with that. Here's what's coming up in today's episode. There's the papal visit that needs to be discussed. We've had a lot of response to that on the forum and on email, and we'll be hearing what you make of the Pope and his recent controversial state visit to the UK. We'll be getting the usual bout of LGBT and front-page headlines from around the world in GYC News a bit later on. We'll also be hearing a few of the celebrities who've given their voice to the It Gets Better project, and we'll be discussing whether or not coming out is something that we should call an achievement as LGBT youth in 2010. This is the GYC cast, episode 3 for October 22nd, 2010. I'm Ollie Southgate. I think it's probably necessary to say before we start this segment about the Pope, any views or opinions expressed on any episode of the GYC cast relating to any topic that is brought forward for discussion by presenters, guests, interviewees, or those relayed on soundbites are those of the individual in question and do not necessarily represent those of the Gay Youth Corner, the GYC.com, its staff, and or its creators. Well, now that that's out of the way, I hate the Pope. No, I'm kidding. But we are talking today about the recent papal visit to the UK. Now, let's have a look here. Obviously, this is an interesting topic for us to approach because a lot of homosexuals don't get on with the Pope. Let me just start out by reading here what happens if you Google Roman Catholic position on homosexuality. It's quite interesting. This is from about.com, written by Kelly Marnie. And it says, as a leader in the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Benedict has long been concerned about homosexual behaviour, taking the stance that there are different kinds of homosexuals. In 1975, he issued the Declaration on Certain Questions Concerning Sexual Ethics, which delineated a difference between transitory and pathological homosexuality. However, even in denouncing homosexual behaviour, he called for empathy and compassion from followers. He denounced violence of speech and action against homosexuals in the pastoral care of homosexual persons. Despite his call for compassion, he has not stepped down from his stance that homosexuality is a moral evil. There we are, people. Homosexuality is a moral evil, according to the Roman Catholic Church. But I think we can all agree that it isn't. And now that that's out of the way, let's just talk about the Pope. So before I get the ball rolling on what everyone else thinks of him, I was kind of clicking around when I decided to use this topic in the first place. And I found a clip of Stephen Fry discussing the visit. Now, Stephen Fry is, albeit, a guy who is renowned for not really liking the Catholic Church. Well, that's an understatement. You know, he participated in the BBC Parliament Intelligence Squared debate against Nan Widdecombe and kind of owned her, just saying. Anyway, this is what he has to say. This is from the BBC.
I have no objection to the Pope coming to visit Britain. He's welcome to do so, and he's welcome to do so with all the pomp and panoply that he wishes to, as the leader of an enormous religious sect, of course, or a church. There are devout Catholics who are extremely pleased to see him, and I have absolutely no quarrel with that. And how could I hold my head up if I said I objected to that? But I do think there is something severely amiss with granting him a state visit. It's an accident of words almost to call Vatican City a state. It is in no real sense a sovereign state at all. It's a sort of rump accident of history that this place has an autonomous, autocratic, absolute monarchy of one organisation. And it sort of can't have its cake and eat it. You can't behave like that. You can't be part of an autocratic kingdom on earth like the Catholic place is, and claim to be a spiritual leader, and expect the British taxpayer to foot the bill for your visit. I mean, it's not right.
Now, I've got to say, I'm agreeing with the Fry on this one, but let's have a look at what you're saying about it over on the message boards. So we posted a very open question last week. What do you think of the Pope? And we've had some response from you. Username Rara says the papacy has been a hotbed of corruption since its foundation. That is all. Witty Sex with Matt, I like that username, says the question asked was rather open. I have no obligation to the Pope personally, but it has come to my attention through the news that the Catholic Church has been doing some very terrible things and recently apologised publicly. I can't believe that such a wide religion, who people look upon as a saviour to both religion and their country, allowed such unspeakable crimes to take place. The Catholic Church should be under scrutiny and punishment for these crimes. And the Blackout says, I don't mind the Pope visiting, and I think it's a good way for people to get together, but I know a few people who don't like it because they say that it's a Protestant country, and so why should the Pope be visiting? P.S. Love the podcast and it's very helpful. Thanks, the Blackout. We posted the same question in the general boards as well, under Big Debates, and we got some good answers there, including a Tim Minchin song, which I so wish we had the licenses to play on this podcast, but we just don't, Pritchard. I'm so sorry. But Hand of Omega 91 says, I generally despise most forms of organised religion. The teaching of religions I don't have a problem with, as generally they encourage people to be good, nice, considerate people. However, some organisations, such as the Catholic Church, bend the teachings for their own ends. Anters says, the Pope in summary, death is coming, quick, put on the gold hat. Yeah. Frenzy says, I don't think I can have anything against the Pope as a person, simply because I know very little about him. His views, etc., are going to mirror that of all popes, past and future. They are, after all, Catholic and have lived within the Catholic Church all their lives. Therefore, I find it hard to distinguish particular feelings to any of them as people. In fact, I found his state visit interesting. Basso Profondo, I think that's how I'm supposed to pronounce that, I'm so sorry, says, the modern world owes almost everything to organised religion, for the cultural West is a direct product of it, when it is not a direct product of opposition to it, which is less common. Although it should not be free from criticism, do not let your agenda interfere with your judgment on churches, in all senses of the word, of any kind. Your Sweet Guy says, wow, I guess everybody hates the Pope, lol. I didn't think he lolled. I think one's ascribed status as a homosexual really affects the views on organised religion. Well, obviously. And that debate still seems to be going on, which is good. So go over to the discussion boards, and under Big Debates, go into the article called Talkin' Pope. And if it gets interesting, there'll be more next episode. But it probably won't get interesting because you're already boring. Kidding!
The GYC Cast is a Locked Gate media production for the Gay Youth Corner. For more information, visit thegyc.com and click on podcast.
You know what else we asked in the forums? We asked if coming out was considered an achievement for LGBT youth in 2010. I noticed that a lot of people on their profiles had put down in the section that says your greatest achievement to date, they've put them coming out. And there's some kind of dispute about whether people should see that as an achievement or just kind of part of the process of going through growing up as an LGBT youth in 2010 especially. And we've had a few replies on the forum. I'm going to go by username here, Kazu Fu. I think so. It's a hard and difficult process that completely changes you. Some people, sadly enough, can spend their whole life and never accept it. It's an achievement. Also, first, mwaha. Okay. A username that I'm going to read as IckleM, because I think that'll be funny. I think it actually means Luke. I think it definitely is an achievement. A lot of people get degrees these days, and that's still an achievement. Getting a job is an achievement. A lot of people would agree, I think, as many said congratulations when I came out, just as they would with a lot of other things. Username, just in capital letters, bye, exclamation mark, could work. I guess it depends on each person and the situation they're living in. For some people, coming out to friends is a great achievement, while coming out to the family is too easy, or vice versa. In my case, coming out to my family will be a really great achievement. That's good. And then Brandon Allen says, I definitely consider it an achievement. Coming out can be a huge step for youth who live in broken homes or in environments in which they're sure their family won't accept them. When you come out, it's your final affirmation of who you really are. You may accept yourself being gay before, but coming out lets you relax and say to yourself, okay, everyone knows now. I don't have to hide it. I like these responses. Keep this going. Log on to the GYC.com, go into the discussion boards, and go into big debates, and check out what people are saying on the topic entitled Coming Out an Achievement. And now, with headlines from around the world, here's me with GYC News.